Welcome to What Not to Do When Organic Gardening. Hello, friends. So, if you want to have an organic veggie garden, you must ask yourself, do you want an organic veggie garden or do you want chickens? Being a girl that wants it all, I want both. So these guys, their wings are clipped. We've fenced everything, but the fences aren't high enough. And so they just flap their stubby little wings and up they come. And they're okay in here supervised, but they are a little bit cheeky. So I've had our garden mentor in this week and just wanted to go over some dilemmas. So the plan, the intention, not the plan, is to make these fences higher in the garden and then open the chicken door or install another little automated chicken door in their hen house here, and they can then have this space. This is the new chicken run circa to come in 2025. So right now, there is crops growing. The beans, I've got little purple basil plants, some cabbages, the leftover kale, and cucumber, but they're quite established. It's just the seedlings that can suffer. But obviously if I had 20 chickens in here, even the established plants would suffer. So these guys are starting to learn that this space, I think it's like ever since I made my mind up that the chickens are in here, all of a sudden they just started coming in here. It's so interesting, the energetics of it all. So what we're going to do is up in that space, it's what we're calling the orchard. We're going to put a veggie plot up in there. So there's a few logistical things we need to figure out because our sewer line runs through there. It's just a small hose that takes our composting worm gray water up into the orchard as like gray water spray. But the hose like runs right through, like across, and we already hit the hose when my husband dug a trench for the electric gate. So it's all good, we fixed it, but we just have to kind of mark out where that's going to be. But then that will be where the new veggie patch goes probably next year. We thought that it's much easier to contain and build 4 higher fences in the veggie patch, aka chicken run, rather than try to do the entire property. And we really do want these guys to like free range as much as possible. And I'd say around like 5 p.m. each day, 4:45, we would then open up the back. There'd be like a little back door area where they can go out, hopefully into the backyard, just for half an hour, 45 minutes at the end of the day. So we got little babies. So successfully hatched 3 eggs. Miss Cola, she's our senior citizen. She's like 8 years old, such a good mom. And then this other little hen here hatched 1 little baby. So it's the first time we've ever had hens sit on eggs to hatch. We have had day olds that we stuck under, but that's the first time, and we love it when the hens can raise the babies. We've hand raised babies before. It's just a lot of work, and these guys just do it all. So that is one what not to do. It's kind of like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken or the garden, and we wanted both. So that's okay. You just gotta start with what you have, the knowledge you have, and then you figure it out as you go. And I feel like 20 chickens is a bit much. We are getting about 9 eggs a day, probably more to come, because we've got these guys over here. We bought them as chicks, and they're now fully grown. They just started laying, so I reckon we're up to close to 12 or a dozen eggs per day soon. just a lot. I have to bake a lot of frittatas and stuff on the weekend to get through the eggs, so we don't really need that much. But yeah, I feel like a comfortable number is like 12 chickens in this run. So that's a little update on this space. I did have a really successful kale crop, so much so that I was able to go to a local organic cafe and sell some in exchange for a voucher to their dry goods section, because I should pretty much shop there every day. So this is our kale garden, and there was some Swiss chard, dill, and some little violets, edible flowers that they were taking as well. But I think the leaf cutters and slugs and moths have moved in, so I just dropped off the last kale last week, and the rest of it will just kind of be goat food, and some can be for us. But that was a cool thing. I think I made like $130 from that exchange. That was just so easy to grow when it was in season. So that is all for today's update, and we will check back in when I have something else to share.